Okay, so if you're watching this video, it's because you need some support on number 2. And I'm covering up number 1 because I know that this amount of space that it provides us is not going to be enough for me. So you might find it's easier to solve a problem that has so many steps in your notebook or in your spiral, or if you've got post-it notes, you can always use that to sort of extend your workspace. So I'm doing 12 and 3/10 times 3 and 5/8. I decided to show the improper fraction strategy because I used partial products on number 1. So my very first step is I need to take 12 and 3/10 and turn it into an improper fraction. 10 times 12 is 120, plus 3 is 123 over 10. 3 and 5/8. I know that 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29 over 8. Right? So my improper fraction strategy, I take my numerators, 123, multiplying that by 29, and my denominators 10 times 8. Well, I know my denominator is going to be 80. But I do need to figure out what my numerator is. And I can tell just looking at this problem here, you might be struggling with this problem because of all of the multiplication and division we're going to need to do. Because 123 times 29 is going to give us a pretty large product. And that means I'm also going to have to do some division work to turn it back into a mixed number. So let's go through the problem together and you can see if you can figure out where your accuracy mistake might be. Right? So 9 times 3 is 27. Put my 7 down and carry the 2. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 2 is 20. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Right, now I'm going to need to do my 2, but it's a 20, so I'm going to put my placeholder of 0 down. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Those are my two partial products, so I'm going to add them together. 7 times 0 is 7. 7 plus 0 is 7. 0 plus 6 is 6. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so I can see why you may have been struggling with this. We now have a numerator of 3,567 80ths. But we can't leave our answer in that form, so we need to turn it into a mixed number, which means we are going to do some long division. So I'm actually going to take this post-it here and turn it sideways because I like having lines this way for a long division. It helps me to keep all my columns in order. So 3,567, I'm going to talk through my long division here. I know that 80 does not fit into 3. It does not fit into 35, but it is going to fit into 356. So if you are still struggling with your math facts, I'm sure you already know this, but we do have a multiplication table back here, and this might help you to just be able to move a little bit more quickly if you're struggling with how many times does 80 fit into 352, because I can look at my multiples of 8 here, and I see that 8 times 4 is 32, which means that 80 times 4 will be 320, which is really close to this guy. So I know 80 fits in 4 times. It's not 32, but 320. 6 take away 0 is 6. 5 take away 2 is 3. And we're going to drop down our 7. And before I did that, I know that I picked the right number up here because my remainder of 36 is smaller than my divisor of 80. Okay, now I need to figure out how many times 80 fits into 367. That's pretty close to what I had here. So it fits in the same amount. 4 times 80 is 320. Do my takeaway. 7, 6 take away 2 is 4. All right, so after all of this multiplication and all of this division, I've got a whole number of 44. My remainder is my new numerator, 47, and my denominator is 80. So I can see why you may have been struggling with this guy. There is a lot of places where you can go wrong with your accuracy. I hope that helped.